Hello, I am Luke Hamnett and welcome to my podcast where on every episode we are going to live, laugh and Luke. I'm going to be joined by the Queen of Huns, my mother, Janet Hamnett, for questions, confessions and a whole lot of lols.
I don't know. I'm just guessing.
We like to spice things up as well, so we'll invite my mum to touch my balls. I can't believe I just said that. No, it's not what you're thinking. It's my lovely tombola full of stories and confessions. So, let's get ready to live, laugh and Luke. Do you know what hun means when I say hun of all huns?
Well, I call your dad hun.
Right.
Yeah, just it's a terms of endearment to me, and I sometimes I put it on texts as well. Thanks, hun.
Do you know what though? When you say hun, it can be interpreted in two ways. Like, I can sometimes call someone hun to be a dick.
Oh.
Like, okay, hun.
I've been calling your dad that a lot just lately.
What, a dick?
No, hun.
I go to someone if they're really annoying me. I go, okay, hun.
Is that what it means?
No. It's just how we interpret things differently now. We're a bit older. Like, your generation just interprets it, my generation, very differently. So for hun, for us, we've got like hun, like pop culture, which is like leopard print, like glitter wine glasses and cat slate. People.
And that's me.
Yeah.
I do like me.
You're like a live, laugh, love kind of woman, aren't you? You're leopard print, all that. So it's like someone who is like, well, I would say quite worshipped in the gay community, to be honest.
What, leopard print?
No, you idiot. Huns.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
I don't know. Some of your interpretations you've told me, I haven't got a clue.
Interpretations, then
I can't even speak.
So, obviously, with that, I know we just talked about that, about different generations.
Definitely.
This podcast itself is going to talk about like dating and how different it is with someone that's older. Sorry to offend you. Like,
what would you actually call me?
Ancient.
Sort of ancient.
Someone who.
What will you be? Because what's a millennial? Is that something that's young?
You're a
trendy
boomer.
A boomer?
I think.
What's that?
Were you born during the war?
No.
When were you born? No, 60s. No, that wasn't the war.
64 I was born.
Gen X. You're Gen X.
Somebody said I was Gen X once and I thought they were pronouncing my name wrong. Honestly, that's a true story.
I can't
They kept saying Gen X, and I thought, it's my name for sure. Anyway, no. So I'm a Gen X.
You're a Gen X. So it's Live, Laugh, Luke. So let's start with the live, of course. So, Mum, obviously, we're going to talk about dating. We're going to talk about dating, how it was in my generation, you know, the really young ones, and then the really old ones like yourself. Let's get into it.
I dread to think.
With me?
Well, with anything you're going to say.
When you were younger, how did you date? Because I feel like it was very different to how we date now.
I was very shy when I was younger.
How did you meet Dad?
I met your dad across the road over borrowing something off the neighbour. That's how I met your dad. But dating-wise, I've only ever dated once or twice. Yeah. And I married the third one.
Right.
So yeah, I don't really date.
No, but what I'm saying is when it comes to dating, like, how did you meet them?
I met one when I was at work.
Yeah.
And took me on a date.
Yeah.
We just sort of.
Where did you go?
Somebody said he likes you, she likes you, and we went with the pictures. But when he picked me up, he turned up with his mate.
He turned up with his mate.
Yeah, I don't know. He was shy. I was shy, and he brought his mate as a chaperone. I don't know what I thought I was going to do to him. We got the bus in to see a film. By the time we got there, we'd spent the money and we had to come back. I felt so sorry for him because he hadn't got any money and he wanted to treat me to go the pictures. But with his mate turning up, we felt as if he'd got
paid for his mate.
Yes, so we hadn't got the money. So got on the bus, come back, and I slipped my bus money in his pocket, and that was it. That was last date, first and last date.
God, you slipped his bus money in his pocket, Jan. Jesus.
No, it's weird because I didn't really date like that.
Did you not?
No, not really.
With like us, like.
How do you date?
Well, I've been in a long-term relationship, so I would say it's very, very like app heavy.
What do you mean?
Like on your phone, like online dating, I would say. Yeah. I don't know what it is. Like, I don't know if it's just like this generation, a lot more people are meeting on apps to do it.
Yeah, we never met on apps, and people I know didn't meet on apps. They were like, You mainly met your partner perhaps in a pub or somewhere social.
Yeah.
Like, because that's what you do,
But like, I don't understand how you can have the confidence to go up to someone like, because I couldn't, like, because I've
I
got a
couldn't.
massive fear of rejection. Like, I hate being rejected because I don't know, just kills something inside me. If I went up to someone in a club and went, "Hey mate, I think
As if you would.
I think you're
Be,
dead."
hi, mate.
Right,
Sorry.
that's offensive.
No, sorry.
So if I went to someone, "Hey mate, I think you're dead fit," and you turned around to me and said, "Get away from me," I wouldn't leave the house for 2 weeks.
Oh, actually, I remember being chatted up in a pub once.
Right.
It's a little bit of a funny story. Think about it, I was so naive thinking back about it now. It wasn't a date, but I didn't even know it was being chatted up till after. And I told my friends, he said he was Enroad. This is the story. The story was I was sat at the bar getting a drink. Bloke next to me was talking to me. I said, "Oh, we're having a nice conversation." Never thought anything of it. Then we got on the subject of dogs. I know, it's
Like dogging?
I don't think I'm going to tell the story.
Like dogging?
No,
As
he
in
got
dog?
he got a dog who ran about. Oh yeah, I like a dog. I know friends who just had a Staffy Bull. He said, "You do know they have lockjaw, don't they?" I said, "What, Staffy Bulls?" He said, "Yeah." He said, "They have lockjaw and you have to have a special key to open them." And I believed him.
So you believe that?
He said, "Staffy Bulls have lockjaw."
Yeah.
And I was amazed. He said, "Really?" He said, "I was really into it." I said, "Really?" He said, "Yeah." He says, "They have a lockjaw." And he said, "You have to have a special key to open the mouth." And I believed him. When I went to, this is how naive I am, when I went and told all my mates, I just fell about laughing like I must have been. So,
I bet you never saw that guy again.
no.
Because
I
he
didn't.
thought to himself, "I'm not
I've
chatting
got a right dizzy-
this thick as pig shit woman I'm speaking to."
Yeah, but I didn't know it was being chatted up, in all fairness. But yeah,
It's a bit different for
bloody
us.
key for a lock.
It's a bit different for us because I feel like a lot more people are going on apps and then swiping left or right or matching with someone. And probably it's a little bit more, you're going off looks, I would say, a lot more because everyone's putting the best photo of themselves on there. Because you're not going to put an ugly hungover photo of yourself as your front one. Everyone's
Yeah.
going to go off perception and think, "Oh, I like the look of him." Or
Yeah.
I don't. Whereas with yours, it was more a case of
You just meet them on the day.
you're talking about Staffy Bulls.
Well, no. I tell you something though, back in the day, years ago, people used to have the Lonely Hearts column. That's how they used to meet.
What the fuck is Lonely Hearts column?
It's a newspaper, right? Not just for Lonely Hearts, but in the newspaper they used to have a Lonely Hearts section.
Right.
And you've got the men's section, the women's section. Actually, they did have men and women. Not very, there used to be about one or two, I must admit.
That's
But
a bit
yeah,
sad, isn't it?
it is a bit
Poor
sad.
gays and lesbians.
But
out
I used
there.
to love reading them because the funny stories, they'll say fit blonde meeting, whatever, and a masculine looking for this, that, the other, and that's how they used to do.
So they used to say, tell me if I'm wrong,
I want somebody blue-eyed, blonde, this, that, but they
blue
used to put
eye,
funny stories
blonde
in.
hair, big tits, small waist,
Something along that line.
one
yeah.
dog, Staffy Bull,
Yeah.
no kids. Is that
Yeah, but
right?
that's how they used to meet back in the day. I know a few people that have done that and they've met. They got married.
Jesus.
That's how
and
one of
that's
them.
just off description, not even off face or anything.
That's just off the paper. And then you do meet up at eventually. It's like a P.O. box. You put your letter in and then you swap letters and then you leave
like
them.
numbers and stuff
Yeah,
like that.
that's how they did
I've
it.
never heard of Lonely Hearts Club.
Yeah, that's true.
I thought it was like horoscopes.
No.
Right.
You got them in the papers as well. But
Yeah.
that was like perhaps my mum's days, not my
Yeah.
days. We didn't
Before
have
that.
No, we wouldn't do that.
I feel like you had a lot more pressure to get married and have kids rather than us. Well, actually, no, to be fair though,
I think my mum's generation
and
did.
you.
Well, no, not really. My mum was pretty relaxed. But like my mum's brothers and sisters, they all seemed to meet when they were 18 and get married. A year
How
or
the
so.
hell can you be
before
with
they were
someone from
20.
the 17? Why don't you go out and fuck a
They
bit?
did. Oh, Christ. Because you didn't do that.
But how do you know if you're going to be the one if you're not going out there and dipping your ink in different inks?
Well, let me
You're
tell
kinda
you
different
now,
inks.
my aunties and uncles are still together when they were married at 18 and 17. They're still together, so
Yeah, but
obviously
like,
it worked.
even you,
I
like,
thought-
when I think about it now, I find this really, really wild. You were married at 25,
I met your dad when I was 20, yeah.
but you got married when you were 25.
And I thought I was...
That is, you for what?
I thought that was quite old.
That is crazy to me.
I know.
That is so crazy, like how you think.
Yeah,
could
you
be
wouldn't
old.
even think about getting married at that age, would you?
No, absolutely not. Can you imagine
I
me
thought it was
married
past it.
Can you remember me at 25? Imagine
Yeah.
me married at 25.
No.
Absolutely not.
Can't imagine get it 55, never mind 25.
When I was
Okay.
rude. I met my partner when I was 24.
Okay.
We were with obviously for a year. I can remember you saying to me, when I was your age now, I was already married to your
Yeah,
dad.
I was.
And I was like, are you taking the piss?
I know. It's
Imagine me
crazy.
marrying
Yeah.
now. No.
No, I wouldn't have. Well, I don't know. If it's right, isn't it?
And I do feel like, forgive me if this is probably the wrong thing to say, and I don't mean it to be offensive, and I feel like everyone's going to attack me. I feel like people now in the modern generation are more heavily focused on careers.
I think you're right, Luke. A lot of people are like the more focused on careers, and a lot of people having kids later now.
Yeah.
My aunties and uncles, when they got married at 18 and that, they were having
Yeah,
kids.
kids.
Yeah. Like I was with your dad 5 years before we got married. Mm. And then, so I worked up until then I stopped a bit and then I went back work. My mum never went, well, she did. She had a part-time job, but back in the day, the men went work and the women stayed at home.
And how old were you when you had Amy?
A year after we got married.
26.
Yeah.
You were 26 years old when you had a baby.
It's crazy when you think about it now. When
It
I've got
is.
nephews that age and think,
Yeah. That's so young, Mum.
think so.
Yeah, because if you feel like now we skip a generation, we go to Nan. How did Nan meet Grandad?
I think the same. He lived next door to her sister. Sorry, her sister. This is my mum's second marriage.
Yeah.
But lived next door to her sister. I think he was doing a job on a clothes maid or something, or one of the things broke and he was knocking it together with a nail or something.
Yeah.
That's how they met, over a clothes maid.
It's quite romantic, but it's also a bit like, how the fuck does that even happen?
I met your dad over a cup of sugar.
What did you say?
No,
Sweeten me up, Dave.
No, he was at his sister's, lived across the road from my mum. And what happened was there was a knock at the door at 12 o'clock at night. I thought, who the hell's knocking at the door at 12 o'clock? And it turned out to be your dad. Well, I didn't know that at the time. Turned out to be your dad. And I went across with the sugar and he was there, it's his sisters, and we just got chatting. And I slept with him the first night. Not like you think. Because it was, don't forget, it's 12 o'clock at night. You can...
That is disgusting.
No, it's not like you think. He borrowed us some sugar. It's 12 o'clock at night. I took it across. I ended up having a drink with him and his sister, and then she went bed, and we were talking, and then before he knew it was 2 o'clock or more, and when I went to go back home, which is across the road, my mum had locked the door thinking it was out, so I ended up having to go back, and we slept on the settee. I was one end and he was the other. And we've been together ever since then.
How long ago was that?
What was it, 40 years?
40 years.
Yeah.
Oh my God. 40 years. You could literally do murder and be out before then.
We were engaged that year. Met him in the February.
Wait. You met in the February and you
got engaged in the November.
What? This is like a gay marriage.
I just think he just knew straight away.
Did you know straight away?
After a few weeks, it built up. Then that's right. I wouldn't get engaged to him if it wasn't for the point of getting married. I wouldn't get engaged for willy-nilly. I was getting engaged to get married.
So how long after did you get married after you got engaged?
Well, it was a couple of years because you had to save and,
Right, okay.
So it was all about the saving really. So otherwise they'd been married sooner.
Do you know what though? The main thing I'm taking from this is it's like a mother like son. It's like you sleep with someone on the first night.
Well,
I'm gonna leave that there.
no.
So now we're going to go on to the section of it's time to touch my balls. So
When you say that.
we've got a tombola machine in front of us with pink balls inside. In these pink balls, it has got a confession from me, yourself, a guest, or the audience.
Okay.
And we have got to react and give our advice to it. So if you want to give it a spin, love. And grab in and get one of my balls. Oh God, that sounds awful. I knew you were going to go for that one.
Go on.
I tied a colleague up in a chair and pushed them in the cupboard. Left them there, can't be bothered with them.
They tied a colleague up in the cupboard. What for? What reason?
Don't know. It just says they've tied him up and left him in there.
Let's have a look.
First of all,
That's bullying.
I hope they're okay.
That is bullying, I'm sure. Tied up in a chair. I don't know about that one, Luke. It's either some sexual fantasy or, like you say, Or
Is that
somebody's
some sort
bullying.
of, is that some sort of like Mr. Grey shit? Because you read them books.
Yes, but not in a cupboard. Probably on a four-poster bed somewhere.
I'm going to move
That's
on,
a bit
guys.
different than tied up in a cupboard not to be seen again.
I'm going to move on, guys, because I don't want to go into it. So we are going to go on to the next section. So do you know what? We all need a laugh in our life. So it's time for a laugh. Mum, we've obviously talked about how you and Dad first met. Okay. So I'm going to tell you how I've met my partner. So what we said about was differences between dating back then and dating now. Right. How I dated my partner was on an app, Tinder.
Oh, I've heard of Tinder. There's all sorts in the Grindr, Tinder.
Yeah, Grindr's a little bit more different than Tinder.
Why? What's Grindr?
Grindr's more when you meet people for like hookups.
Oh, sexual, you mean?
Sexual, yeah.
And people actually do that, just meet up for sex and bog off?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That is weird.
Is it?
I don't know, you don't know who you're meeting, Luke.
That
could be a bit dangerous.
That
could be a lock in the cupboard jobby.
Yeah, it could. You could meet anyone, but yeah, that's what people do that.
Do they?
How do you feel about that?
Well, that's dangerous.
It is dangerous, yeah.
And you could hope you wear protection or something.
I have never done it, so I wouldn't know.
Do you wear protection? You're lying. You're smiling, aren't you?
I plead the fifth in this.
Oh my God, you have.
And also, protection. Can we not talk about this, please? And I'm in a 9-year relationship. You don't need to wear protection.
I'm on about when you're on Grindr, you need protection if you're just dipping in and out. Well, whatever. You've got to have protection, Luke, haven't you? Mom. I'm not going to say you can get pregnant, obviously, but there's diseases and...
Oh, God, stuff. Yeah. Whoever's listening and is on Grindr, please make sure you wrap your willy, because Janet
Don't be
Hamnett
a fool, wrap your tool. That's right.
But there you go. That's the best advice you can get. How I met my partner, I was on an app. Obviously, Mum, you know, back in the day, I was a bit of what the French call a whore.
A flirt.
Yeah, let's go with that.
Yeah.
And it was very much... I very much was in my early 20s. Let's just put it that way.
It out. Go on. Is this on Tinder you met him?
Yeah,
or was it
I met him on Tinder.
Right,
and we were talking over for about 2 weeks. And this is actually quite bad. I shouldn't really say this. Oh. But before I met my current boyfriend...
Go on.
I was already with someone else. As in, they were in...
You were in a relationship?
No.
They were?
No.
Sorry.
I was in, like, fuck's sake, I was having sex with him at this point, and then as they...
On the first date? You never did. Oh, my God.
So, as that...
You can't say things like that.
Why can't I?
Oh, go on, man.
So this happened, as he left... Yeah.
What are you going to say?
My current boyfriend met me after. I know. It's actually quite
During
bad.
one night? Oh, God.
So it's quite bad if you think about it, but it's actually worked out in my favour.
So you were with somebody when
Wasn't with them. We met on a night out. We had a one-night stand.
Yeah.
As they left, I then met my current boyfriend.
Right.
So there was no, like...
And you had sex that first night?
I don't know if I did.
I was going to say, because that's not good.
No, but I don't think I did. I think I had... No, I didn't. I had... Yeah.
You wouldn't do it on the first night. You've got to get no one, surely. All right, then. Perhaps not. Okay, whatever. Let's go on to something
Right, so that's when I met him, and if everyone wants a little moment, is I knew instantly straight away that I wanted to be in a relationship with him.
Oh. Well, you did as soon as we met him.
You did, didn't we? I literally went, yeah, this is the one.
Yeah, definitely. As soon as we met him, we fall in love with him. We still do.
Yeah, he's
Sometimes we prefer him over you, don't we?
Correct. And that is my mother.
With all the family. No, not just me, everyone. No, yeah. Sorry, no. Sorry, no, we do love you, but he's a lovely lad.
I really, really do mean this. I didn't realise that women masturbated up until I was about the age of 18.
Didn't you?
Thoughts?
Thinking back in the day, yeah, I think everybody's done it. People still do it now, don't they?
Well, yeah, but what I'm saying is...
Even when they're in relationships, they do it.
No, I get that, but what I'm saying is I didn't realise that women...
Oh, women specifically?
Women on their own masturbated. I always thought it was just men that did it.
No, women do it as well, Luke.
Yes, okay, Mum, thank you. I didn't realise that.
Oh, God. I'm asking the wrong question. What are we talking about now? Masturbation? Yes, women do it.
Yes, women
And men
do it.
do it, but yeah.
Yeah, we
Sorry,
do.
I don't even know why I've asked you that question.
Yeah, please don't answer me that
okay,
question. Like, it's one of them where it's very icky.
Yeah, we do.
I now know, well, I knew after when I was 18,
Yeah, women
now
do.
women do it.
Yeah.
And I didn't realise up until that point, but I didn't realise the stuff, like, for example, shower heads. Didn't realise that was a thing.
We never had a shower.
What?
I'm just saying, never had a shower. We only had a bath. It's only lately we've had a shower. Ours at the moment doesn't reach that. No, sorry, I'm going off the subject.
Wait, no,
I'm going off the subject
You've
now.
what? You never had showers?
We always had a bath.
When you were younger, you mean?
Yes, we never had showers back in the day.
Oh, so it's only recently you started to have showers and stuff?
I always have a shower, but not with a shower head.
Oh, I can't.
This is going way off.
I cannot deal.
People, yeah, if they want to use a shower head, they use a shower head.
When I was younger, my gay awakening was, do you know the benches in like PE? I used to like rub against that. Don't know why I'm telling you this, Mum. I do apologise, but I used to rub against that.
I think everybody's had a bit of a sexual thing when they're younger. I think it's just finding out your sexuality when you're getting urges and that.
Yeah.
I've done it myself. Mine was with a handrail at school. I used to rub up against that. But everybody's... I'm sure they have. Mine was a handrail. What was yours? A bench?
Bench. But I noticed people, like, someone said a teddy before.
Oh.
I know some of my friends who's cut holes into stuff, like when you're younger.
I've heard that. In fact, that must be a popular one, that one.
Oh, God.
I think mainly with blokes, isn't it? It's a thing. Yeah. Women use objects, don't they?
Right, we'll move on from that.
Yeah.
I do apologise, guys, who listen to the podcast. This is taking a complete...
I can't tell you that one.
What?
Can I?
I don't want to know.
No, actually, no, I'm not.
If it's
save that. No,
really...
it's not me. It was somebody else.
Oh my God, say it then. Don't mention any names.
I'm not mentioning any names, but I know somebody who had brass knobs on the headboard, and I think the fella unscrewed it and...
The fella unscrewed it and put...
Yeah.
What in the fucking bed knobs and broomsticks is going on there?
Luckily, she got it back.
She got the knob back?
Yes.
Did she have to go A&E?
No.
But he just took it out and just...
It was just a sexual thing. I know somebody who had a light bulb, which was very delicate. A light bulb one, that's another one. God, more I'm thinking back, I had some dirty friends, actually. No, go on, let's
It's like you're listening to stuff from fucking IKEA here.
Don't go around the home section.
So, guys, I think we're going to go to the section of touch my balls again after that traumatic thing. There's a tombola in front of us and there is confessions. It could be from myself, Mum, or an audience member, and we have to react to them. So give it a spin. Okay.
No.
How do I tell my husband I hate having sex? It repulses me. I'm not sure if it's a menopause, but the thought of it makes me want to throw up.
Oh.
You're probably the best person to answer this because you've been through the menopause, and believe me, everyone knows it.
I mean, I've been through the menopause. The thought of it doesn't make me want to throw up. But I can understand how you go off it because my mood swings and all that sync.
Right.
You're thinking, your way of thinking, your body. So, yeah, but I've never sort of threw up that bad. I just said, no, you're not, and that's it. That's the end of. You'll have to wait. No, I've never been sick on it. No, I mean, I've never been sick not to do... Oh.
She says you've never been repulsed by it.
Right, no, I've never been repulsed.
I don't know if
I've just said no.
I don't know if this is just me.
But I have got a good understanding husband. Some husbands aren't when they go through the menopause, and that is another issue. I've had a friend whose husband wasn't very sympathetic, but...
What, as in, like,
they didn't understand what was going on with your body and things like that. Luckily, your dad's in tuned with that sort of stuff. I put it down to he worked with a lot of women, and he was in the tea room and he used to hear all these conversations, so yeah.
What advice would you give him?
I didn't even know I was going through the menopause till your dad told me.
Right.
That's true. Yeah, it's true, because of my mood swings, I just thought I was...
Moody.
That's just a moody bugger in general.
What advice would you give her? I mean, I don't know. Like,
I would say if it's that repulsive, go to your doctors and get yourself checked out and everything, see if she's on the right medication.
Right.
You know, and that's the only advice I would give somebody like that.
Because there's two in there. There's like a gel. Is that right?
There's a gel. There's all sorts of things out there.
patch.
But yeah, I'd say and talk to other women about it. But yeah, I'd go to your doctors, get yourself checked out, and see if you're on the right medication. Might come back. Just have a date night.
Do you know what, Mum? That's actually very good advice.
Ooh.
It was. As you know, the podcast is called Live, Laugh, Luke, and it wouldn't be right if we didn't do a whole section about me.
Typical.
Yeah.
No, but it's about you.
Yeah, so I thought this would be a great opportunity to fill you in. So, because obviously the topic is about relationships, I think it's best we talk about it. Advice about dating in today's age. So if you were to give someone advice in dating right now, what would you say to them?
Safety for one.
Right.
The thing is, like, I think when you're dating now, if you're on these apps or anything like that, you don't know who you're talking to. So I reckon, like, either meet somebody in a setting where, you know, in the day, actually, I'd go on a day date or something like that, and perhaps have you send friends sit on the next table over or something. It's tricky, and you don't know.
Especially you don't know who you're talking to if you're on an app.
You don't.
But I would definitely say date in a setting where you feel safe, not so much your house. Go somewhere by CCTV.
Somewhere public. Your sister went on a date in public. Yeah.
Yeah.
She had,
it's very common, Mum.
But she had a bad date.
Right.
And she had to go to this. Well, the staff actually seen how horrible he was to it, and they escorted him off. So they got rid of him, put her in a taxi, make sure she was safe. Thank goodness for the bouncers.
My date was when I had a date around my house. So to be fair though, we went on a walking date on the first one. The second date he came around my house. We had Pizza Express, we had dough balls, we had all this shit going on. And anyway,
don't invite me around your house till you're sure.
Don't invite you?
Anybody, like, I know, on a date.
Oh, no, but I didn't know. I didn't realise what it was like. So anyway, put the dough ball, pizzas in, all this lot. Then we were on the settee. We had a bit of pizza and stuff like that. But you know when obviously after you've had food, you're a bit like, oh, don't come anywhere near me. Like, I feel a bit, ugh. Yeah. So as we were on the couch and stuff, like, things started to get physical. And then as he tried, I kind of went, oh, no, I'm all right. Like, I don't want to. I don't feel the best. And then he tried again, and I was like, no, honestly, I just feel a bit like lethargic. Next minute, he stands up, puts his jacket on, gets his fucking dough balls that he had, and walks to the door. And I thought, right, what's he doing? And he turned to me and goes, well, I'm going to go then if we're not having sex. And I went,
you're going to come round for sex?
And I went, what? And he went, yeah, I'm going to go then. And then he walked to the door and he said, so you're not going to ask me to stay then? So I got up, fuming, went to the door, opened the door, and I said, mate, you've already made your decision. You've made your bed, lie in it, get out of my house and don't fucking speak to me again, and close the door.
Exactly. Shove your dough balls where they shine.
Yeah, shove your dough balls up your fucking arse, because nothing else is going in there, pal. We're going to do the final time I touch my balls. And then pick a ball.
Hold on, let me see what it says. Let me get my glasses. Right, this one is...
Go on.
Had a shit on my ex-best friend's doorstep and ran off. That's not yours, is it?
No.
No. Well, it's not me either.
I'm trying to think.
You don't shit on your own doorstep, that's for sure, but yeah.
Shit, that best friend must have done something really, really bad for you to shit on it.
Shit on my ex-best friend's doorstep and ran off.
She must have cheated, or they must have cheated with
Must
the
have
partner.
done. Ex-best friend.
Would you ever shit on someone's doorstep?
No.
Even if that, say for example, they punch me in the face, would you go round to number 32 and do a sloppy one on the doormat?
No, but I might send it in the post.
It's very rare.
A lot of people have got Ring doorbells now, so...
Oh, correct.
Yes.
So we couldn't do that. We couldn't shit on someone's doorstep.
You couldn't either.
Why?
Because you need to take some paper.
Why?
Yeah, you're lactose intolerant, aren't you? So yours are sloppy.
Oh, right, fantastic. So, thank you so much, everyone, for joining me on this episode of Live, Laugh, Luke. Remember to keep your questions, confessions, and thoughts coming in on Instagram. It's at Live, Laugh, Luke Pod. And if you haven't already, follow the podcast across all socials and the podcast platforms so you never miss a chance to live, laugh, loot. So, it's goodbye from me. So, goodbye, Mum.
Bye.
Woo! Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me and Jan on this episode of Live, Laugh, Luke. If you want to get involved with my balls, you can send your questions, confessions, and thoughts on Instagram. It's at Live, Laugh, Luke Pod. And if you haven't already, make sure you follow the podcast across all socials and on podcast platforms so you never miss a chance to live, laugh, Luke. So thank you so much for joining me. Bye from me. So goodbye, Mum.
Bye.